I received this prophetic word February 4th, 2024, and it said the Middle East will rise up against the U.S. Multiple terror attacks will happen between fall of 2024 and 2027. So between fall of 2024 and 2027, it's just going to be multiple attacks throughout the U.S. in various places. We need to be in prayer. We need to be vigilant. We need to be on the lookout for that. This is a time to start making plans and arrangements for your families, where you are going to live, coming up with emergency plans when things begin to happen. China will ultimately rule over the U.S. and we will be under a regime. Alliances are being formed as we speak. We will begin to see a rise in Muslim clothing lines all over the U.S., and there will be a push for people to adapt to that kind of clothing. Nations forming these alliances are all anti-Christian. Christianity will be canceled out. You will begin to see churches being burned to the ground, attacks on Christians consistently. The Nation of Islam will rise up during this time. Originally, Christianity was the religion that grounded the U.S., but now the Nation of Islam will be the religion most people convert to during this time. You will see Bibles less and less. I keep emphasizing the importance of having Bibles in various places. Dimensional beings will enter the chat and live among us. They will be almost as if like they are our neighbors. We'll be seeing them all the time. Food scarcity will be present as well. They will control everything: gas, food, medicine, and other resources. The Lord is coming for his people, and he will separate them from the rest. Those who have ears will hear, and those who have eyes to see will see. Prepare for the times ahead, but do not live in fear. If you've been watching my channel consistently, you have been seeing the dreams I've had about the fall of the U.S. and how I told you guys to start having these conversations with your families about what it means, you know, to be under persecution and what that may look like for us in the times to come. But I'm just going to break this prophetic word down a little bit more for those who are kind of like, whoa, that's a lot. Foremost, I think it's really important that you guys understand that you need to start making provisions and plans for your families. Okay, you need to sit down and have a conversation with your family and talk about protocol. And you need to practice. Okay, just how kids go to school and they practice a tornado drill or a fire drill and things like that, or now they have drills for active shooters. You guys need to be doing the same in your home. You need to be practicing those things. You need to be having conversations with your children and your family about what it means to be under persecution and what that'll look like and the type of lifestyle that you may have to lead as a result of that. These are conversations that need to be had. So what if you're a vibe killer? So what if they're looking at you like you're crazy? So what if they don't want to entertain the conversation? Have it anyway, because it might save some lives. Imagine the Lord telling us everything that's going to happen, and we're just like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to just ride this wave, and the Lord going to make a way, when you were supposed to be preparing and making plans. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. You can't prepare for every possible thing, you know, but you could put some things in place to make it a little easier on yourself and protect your family from certain things. So have those conversations with your family about, in the state of an emergency, if your phones are down and GPS is not available, what you are to do if you cannot get in contact with each other when all hell breaks loose. What are you supposed to do? What's the drill? Come up with an effective one and practice it. Your children, practice it. Okay? It sounds crazy. It sounds unreasonable. You're kind of like, why do we have to do this? Do it anyway. Do it anyway. It's the time to start making plans. Where you're going to live. You need to be having copies of keys to other people's homes. Like if you're going to meet up at Auntie Lisa's house, you need to have a key of Auntie Lisa's house. You need the passcode. You need to know how to get in case you're the first person to get there. If you're going to have to meet up at Uncle Joe's, somebody needs to have a key to Uncle Joe's, or somebody needs to know how to get in. They need the password to the garage. Things need to be considered. If you're going to be storing all of the survival basic needs at somebody's house, y'all need to know how to get to that house without GPS. You need to know the routes. You need to know the back roads. You need to know other ways to get there other than that one route in case that one route isn't available to take. These things are important. It's crazy, you guys, I know, but it's important. The Middle East is getting ready to rise up against us. They are getting ready to really come for us. They are going to raise up against us, and they are going to like sweep us. I've seen that, go back and watch that prophetic dream that I had about the river Euphrates. But they are getting ready to submerge us. They're getting ready to sweep us, and it's going to be dangerous times. Ultimately, we will be under the rule of China. China is going to take over. We are going to be under their regime. There will be no more United States of America. There will be no more land of the free. That's over with. China will be the one that is in control. And it's hard to conceive that idea because we just think that the U.S. is invincible. The only thing that has been protecting America this long is God's provision. That is why we have not fallen the way that we should have. That is why America seems so invincible for such a long time. When in reality, we're so fragile. We're so fragile. It doesn't take much to take us down. But the Lord has kept us. But not anymore. The Lord's provision is leaving. And they're going to team up against us. And they're going to jump us. They're going to jump us. It's going to be so many casualties. It's going to be ugly. From fall 2024 going into 2027, it's just going to be a mess. We'll begin to see a push for modest clothing. We will begin to see a push for modesty more than ever before. It's going to be really strange because the U.S. is all about being free, not wearing clothes, female liberation and things like that. But all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing men and women dressed like Muslims. You're going to start seeing it be trendy almost. You're going to start seeing women wear hijabs. You're going to start seeing men dressed like they're part of the Nation of Islam. You're going to start seeing this. It's going to be strange when it happens. And a lot of Muslims are going to be offended because they're going to be like, our way of dressing is not for cosplay and it's not for fashion. You know, there's a reason why we do this. And they're going to find it very strange that all of a sudden everybody wants to look like them. Strange. And they're going to try to make it trendy. They're going to try to make it trendy. We're going to see a rise in Muslim clothing lines. When the Lord told me that, I thought that was very peculiar. I have seen some like high-end brands kind of increasing over time that are Muslim. Start seeing more of that. We're going to start seeing more of that in the U.S. and just everywhere. And people are going to start catching on to it. Not because they're Muslim, but because they're going to start being drawn to it. A really big push for modesty in this time. We're going to see the Nation of Islam rise up in a way that we have never seen. Now, we're going to see this. Why? Because Christians are going to be scattered. The nations that are coming against us and the nations that will be in charge of us are very anti-Christian. So Christians are going to be scattered. They're going to be hiding. They're going to be hiding. They're not going to be out in the open like they were before. It's not going to be safe to do that. We're not going to be able to be out worshiping the way that we were before. We're going to have to move very different. We're going to start seeing people attack churches. Churches are going to be burned. They're going to be major targets in the times to come. People are going to try to go to churches for, you know, sanctuary, and it's going to be more so of a target. When I think about it, I think about Martin Luther King in Montgomery. You know how they used to go to church to worship and plan, and their churches would get set on fire while they were in them. That's kind of how it's going to be. It's going to be like the hands of time have been turned backwards. And I said this in another prophetic word that I released like earlier last year around this time. Actually, I think so. Due to that, Christians are going to be scattered. And you're going to see less Christians and more Muslims. You're going to see the Nation of Islam rise up. People who are Christian, when they begin to fall away due to persecution, a lot of them are going to convert to Muslims, to the nation. They're going to go from Christian to Muslim. They're going to convert. They're going to look for sanctuary and protection under the nation. That's what they're going to do. You will see a lot of Christians begin to come out and say they have converted to the Nation of Islam. You will see the Bibles less and less. I've been saying this for a while now. Buy Bibles while you can. Do not just buy the KJV, NKJV. Buy every kind. Buy the easy to read version. Buy every type of study Bible that you can get your hands on. When you see one on sale, grab it. I promise you there's going to come a time where they're going to take it away. Where it's going to be illegal to have one. Where the Christian bookstores are going to be shut down, out of business, burned down. You're not going to be able to get Bibles. Go to a church and find one. Won't be able to. Stock up on them while you can and hide them in various places. Not only for yourself, but for others. Keep them in your car. Keep them in your basement. Give them out as gifts. And people may not see the importance of that right now, but in time, they will thank you for it. Or someone else will be grateful that you did that. We'll be able to have them the way we have them right now. You guys are meeting up in Starbucks for Bible studies and things like that. No. There will be no more of that. No. It'll be too dangerous. Dimensional beings. I made a prophetic word on that. And you can go watch that if you want to talk more about that. But we will begin to see more interdimensional beings during times of war. They will try to be our allies. They will say, oh, we're so pro planet Earth. We're so pro the people. We want to help, yada, yada, yada. See food scarcity, and that's already increasing. Inflation makes it hard for people to even keep food in their homes. More than ever, we're seeing people go towards the homestead route where they're growing their own food. We see people coming together in communities to start gardens because it's just too hard to go to the grocery store and buy fresh produce. That's the route we're going. Food scarcity. It will control everything: gas, food, medicine, and other resources. The Lord said this to me years ago. When these things happen, they're going to be trying to control everything. If you need medicine, they're going to try to ration the antibiotics that you may need when you get sick. You're going to need a prescription to get things like Tylenol. Like children's Tylenol, you're going to need a prescription. Things will not be safe. The Lord said he is coming for his people and he will separate them from the rest. So I do believe that the Lord is going to call for his people to separate themselves, and that he is going to make provisions and plans for his people in some way. How that looks, I don't know. But I do know that the Lord will look after his people. Ears will hear, and those who have eyes to see will see. Things are just going to get really crazy, you guys. They're going to get really crazy. And I would be amiss, I would be negligent if I did not make these videos and sit down and have these conversations with you about what is to come. Because these things are coming and we need to be making provisions and plans. Time been over. We are also going to see things that we weren't able to see before. So things that may have been invisible to us before are going to be visible to us. Things of the spirit that we couldn't see before, we're going to be able to see them. Spiritual warfare, plain as day. Like, we're going to be, it's no longer going to be like gifted people such as myself who are able to see certain things. We're all going to see it. Also, mention of that in the prophetic word I posted 2 years ago, where the Lord said the things that were invisible to us will no longer be invisible. It sounds crazy. I know it all sounds crazy and overwhelming, but do not lose hope. Do not be fearful. Do not start thinking to yourself like, what's the point of anything? Make provisions for yourselves. The Lord has a plan. The Lord will send remnants, and he is making provisions for his people, and we are to make provisions for ourselves. He has plans for us still in the midst of all of this. I love you all with the love of the Lord, and I'll see you guys next time.